Hello guys, welcome to this video. And I'm just gonna kind of give you guys a video into the techniques of landing. I'm gonna try to make it, easier, um, and kind of just do like a step-by-step of where I'm looking and all that type of stuff like that. This is one of my first videos on this channel, and I hope that I can make more and add more insight to what's going on here. Okay, so we were doing a radio navigation approach onto runway 13. Now right here I'm going to stop the sight picture, but as you can see here, your runway is in sight. This is the point where you want to start taking in your glide slope picture. So you want your speed controlled by thrust and you want your rate of descent controlled by your pitch, meaning you want to use everything as normally as if you weren't like on flying before a glide slope capture, where you'd want your speed controlled by pitch and your rate of descent controlled by thrust. So that means you're doing a lot of pulling back, pushing down, and just a lot of stuff. As you can see, we're going direct CPACs. So that means we should be at 2,200 feet radio altitude. I'm at 150 knots. That is what I determined would be necessary for a stabilized approach into Nashville.
Okay. Runways inside.
Say intentions says continue approach, and then instantly gives me clearance. About 5 mile final.
Runway 13 clear to land. Fly Milwaukee.
So when you are clear to land, this is when you want to start getting that sight picture. Now what you need to do is make sure that your descent rate of 1,000 feet per minute is avoided. Now it's going to happen, but you want to avoid that, and if you do that, you need to make sure that you correct it, but don't get yourself into an upset. If you get yourself into an upset, what's going to happen is there's going to be times where you're not going to be able to fix that, and if you don't fix that, then you could lead yourself going into the ground. Now what I mean by fix that is staying on profile but getting yourself back. So what you could use is trim. Make sure that you're nosing up, nosing up, trim. Do not nose down. Keep yourself on use your trim to keep yourself on a 750 feet per minute glide path. Now as you can see, winds are pushing me 236 degrees at 11 at this point. But ATC is going to tell us. Now, one thing that is important is you need to have a stabilized approach. If you don't have that, go around. If you're minimum fuel, if you don't think you're going to have enough fuel for a go around, then you're going to have to press on. But you're going to need to make sure that, well, you don't need to make sure actually. If you land hard, you land hard. It's going to happen. In the area where people always think that smooth landings are the best, sometimes you land too smooth and then you're unable to get the spoilers to or speed brakes, ground spoilers, speed brakes, whatever you want to call them, to deploy in a timely fashion because you landed too smooth. They'll come out, but it just takes about a second longer than it usually would if you get a nice little firm smack down onto the runway. But I digress. At about 1,700 feet, or whenever you think that you have a good sight picture of the runway. Now, what I mean by sight picture is you can see the runway and you can estimate where the center line is going to be. This isn't the point where you're going to start aiming. Now, another thing is the misconception between the aiming point and the touchdown zone. I'm going to put a diagram of what runway markings are up on the screen right now. That should be your aiming point, and that's where you want to aim your landing, your nose. Basically, that's where you want your nose to be. That's where you want your eyes to be, in the center. So I'll show you how we do that here in a second. Now notice my descent rate is constant. I'm using auto throttle off, so I'm keeping my speed up. Now I'm gonna get down to 1,000 feet per minute here, but here's the thing: we're not about 500 feet, so I'm gonna just do that to kind of get that runway low, and then we're gonna come down and be low and slow, if that makes sense. So as I'm going down here, I'm coming in, coming in, coming in now. Here's another thing: you want to use about 2.5 degrees nose up for a flaps 30 landing, and for flaps 30 you want to use 55 and 1 as initially, and then adjust. So notice how I'm always coming back from 55, 55ish. We got a little bit of asymmetric thrust. Thank you, Thrustmaster, for that issue. Now we're getting to about 1,000 feet here. 300. Okay, one thing I would like to say is I accidentally did say that we're coming through 1,000 feet. Again, it's same site picture as I was saying, but we're actually just coming through 500 feet, not 1,000. Yeah. It's this is what's gonna look like. It's gonna be so it's gonna look like. So you're gonna be a lot you're gonna be high. You're gonna think, oh, I want to get lower, but this is what it should look like. You should be this high, about this far out. I've seen some simmers that'll come down really low, but no, this is just about where you want to be at on the landing. Now, at this point, as you can see, at around 300, it's natural for me to kind of go down to 1,000 feet per minute and then just start to flare. But you'll see why I do that in a second. Now I'm getting back up to my speed because I'm noticing, oh, my speed's dropping, but that does mean I'm going to lift my nose up. So when you're coming through it, what you want to do is you want to push the nose down a little bit and then add that power and then pull it back and then just adjust from 55. So as you can see, I'm nosing down at about 600 on the glide now. We're going to come down past, try not to get to 1,000 now. Here we're over that threshold at 50, and now you can see I'm directly nose down. Now why am I doing that? I'm at, actually not nose down, I'm at 2.5 degrees of pitch. That means for me is I am looking right now. If you use your eyes right now and you put where your center of your vision is right now, if you sit back, my eyes are in the direct middle of those aiming point markers. I'm not looking at my speed. That's where I'm staring right now. I'm gonna let my speed decay because we're through 100 and we want to only be at our aiming point speed. If I go back a little bit, at 100 feet. Once we're at VREF of 100, once I get to 100, you're gonna know that, okay, you're gonna hear that I click back those throttles because we're at 147 at 100 feet. So I click back those throttles. You're gonna hear that, and then I'm gonna come in at around 50 feet. You're gonna notice, okay, I'm kind of swaying a little bit, but that's fine. Now notice how I'm coming in, and I'm still looking directly down the middle of the runway. Now for me, I hear 20 feet, and I'm gonna start to arrest my descent rate.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Now as I arrest the descent rate, we get to about 150 feet per minute on the landing, basically in those aiming points.
Deploy deceleration.
Now I do sometimes get lazy with the legs and I let myself, go to the side of the runway, go to that side. But yes, that's something I do.
Ground 30 auto brakes off.
But this landing is always something that I want to show you. So this is Houston Intercontinental. We're gonna start just about, I'd say, 200 feet, and this is an ILS approach. One thing for ILS approaches is you want to never overshoot the ILS. But here's another word of advice for you. Below 200 feet, the landing is primarily a visual maneuver backed up by instruments. What that means is I see a lot of people at 200 feet shooting that ILS, trying to go in, out, over here. Oh my goodness, I'm not on that ILS. I gotta. And then people will see, oh, I'm not on those poppies. As you can see here, I'm on the poppies. But sometimes when you're landing now, the poppies are useless. You're on shore. You're right here at the runway. You need to be flying the plane, not worried about your vertical situation. Because every plane is different for a vertical situation. So notice again, actually following the flight directors this time, since it's an ILS, but at about 60, I'm gonna say I'm stabilized. My sight picture is straight down those aim point markers. You can tell that your vision is straight down if you look at a neutral angle through your monitor. If you look at a neutral angle through your monitor and you're through them, you're good to go.
30, 20.
Here's where I float a little bit, but I still touch down in the touchdown zone. That float came from a early decrabbing of the aircraft, meaning I yawed the plane, making it turn more. Now notice how I'm using my rudders. That's also something you guys gotta do, is use your rudders to keep center line. Also, you might see that I use my ailerons. That is wing loading correction, so we don't get the wind all over the wing and we start drifting over.
Speed brakes up. Or speed brakes down, sorry.
Now, one thing you may notice is when those reversers deploy, you're already at about 90 knots. That's because with the company I fly for, it's policy to make sure that the nose wheel is on the ground before extending those reversers.
Thank you for flying with us today. Did you know that Houston is home to the largest medical center in the world? The Texas Medical Center? Also,
So that's it for this one, actually. Hope you guys did enjoy. The next one's going to be on some takeoff maneuvers and procedures that you can do to rotate better. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little longish video. Yeah, I hope it's not longer than 10 minutes after editing, but thank you and see you next time.